Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? I am much better today than I was yesterday. I took a shower. I fixed it. Actually, I even curled my hair a little bit on the ends. You can't really tell it now. It fell out, but I thought maybe I would look like a human today. Maybe that'll make me feel better. I don't know. Yesterday was a hard day. And it is what it is. I was really struggling. It's funny how I've heard this analogy that women's brains are like spaghetti. So when one thing bothers us, it bothers everything. It all ends up in this big jumble of noodles that all can connect to each other. So it's kind of like yesterday it was one thing, and then it was another thing that touched another thing that touched another thing. So yesterday was a struggle. Thankfully, I feel much better today. I'm still learning to navigate. I'm still learning to navigate this new normal that we are hurled into. But here we are. If you're watching, say hey. Drop me an emoji or something in the comments. Let me know you're here. If you're watching in replay, just type in replay so I know. Just let me know you're here. Say hey. I love seeing who I'm talking to. Yesterday was really a day for me. Hey, Holly, thank you so much for joining us. Tell Miss Maddie we said hey. Yesterday was a day really filled with a lot of reflection. Hey, Hannah. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Amanda. A lot of reflection yesterday, a lot of prayer, yesterday. Hey, Marty. And I really sought the face of God yesterday because I know I don't like to be the person that you guys saw on the video yesterday. It kind of compounds things for me. It makes me feel even worse about myself. And I know I talked a lot about giving ourselves grace. Hey, Billy. And I did do that yesterday. I was giving myself grace, even though I was a wreck, a total train wreck. And I still feel like there's a little puffiness under here, but whatever. I really feel like, I almost feel like I needed yesterday. I almost feel like I needed the good cry. Right? I'm the kind of person who is that way. Like I need a good cry, I forgot to say, if you're watching, just share this video too. Let people know we're here, we're talking, we're getting through life. So what did I learn yesterday? I learned a lot of things yesterday. A lot about myself. And like I said, I really sought the face of God. Because, in times, I'm sorry, I feel like I have something in my eye. In times of difficulty and in times of, you guys, sorry, I know I'm touching my eye. My contact is making me nuts. Okay, that's better, I think. Sorry if that just grossed some of you out. Moving my contact around. But I really sought the face of God. And last night, so my church does online service, and our our bishop preached last night, and that's the first time we've been able to hear or see him preach in, I want to say it's going on like 3 weeks, maybe even a month. So that was, really difficult for us to not see or hear from him in so long, and it was so refreshing too, and it was such a good message. It was so timely, and the scripture that he brought, I was reading it, and it's funny how, we can read the same scriptures and God can really just show us something like totally different. He can show us something totally different than, maybe what someone else sees or what someone else taught. Sorry guys, my technology is not being nice. So yeah, we so often see different things, and what really kind of spoke to me yesterday, and I want to read the scripture to you. It's found in Psalm 46, 1-3. And this is different than what he spoke about last night. But when I read this, reread it this morning, which I'm going to go back and watch the sermon again so I can take some really good notes because it was so good. It was funny. I started taking notes and it was just so good. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to listen. I'm just going to take it in. So I quit. I put my notes down. I quit. But it's Psalms 46. I'm going to start with verse 1. I'm going to read 1-3. Okay. It says, God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in time of trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. So, there's a lot of really great things we can take from that. And the message last night in Bible study was Dr. Patterson talked about how God is an ever-present help. He's always there for us. And when I read this, though, I see really what's going on in our world. Like, there's so much turmoil. This says, though the earth give way, though the mountains fall into the sea. I mean, that's like some serious stuff right there, right? Though the waters roar and foam and the mountains quake and, all these bad things. When I read this, I thought to myself, even though things are crazy, even if the earth gives way, even if this life that we're living right now is our new normal, right? And it potentially is, we will take heart. We will have hope and we will not fear because God is our refuge. God is there for us, with us in those times. And even if all these bad things are happening, we will still place our trust in him. We will still place our trust in God, right? And that really spoke to me because I think so often we really get some serious tunnel vision, right? We get some, hang on just a second. Sorry, guys. We get tunnel vision. We see just what's right in front of us, right? And like we can't see the forest for the trees, right? We only see the problem. We only see the difficulty. And I've said this several times in these devotions. It's like every single day, something new is happening. Something new is coming at us. Something new is hitting us. Yesterday morning I was a wreck. And then we had yesterday afternoon, the governor came out and made his big announcement that I'm not going to say right now because my kids are in the other room and we have not told them yet. But there it was. There was another blow. So it's like every day there's something new coming out. There's something else. There's another mountain falling into the sea. There's another earth giving way. Like there's these problems that are happening that are very, very real, that are very disheartening, very disconcerting. And we as Christians, as believers, need to remind ourselves that even if all these bad things happen, even if this world just falls apart, even if I never go back to work, my kids are screaming. Even if my kids scream all day, every day. Life. Boys, please be kind. I will still trust God. My faith and my hope is still in the God who has already overcome the world, right? We talked about that the other day. Jesus said, take heart. What is that? John 16:33? Let's see. Let's see if my mommy brain remembers that correctly. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm really proud of myself that I remembered where that was. John 16:33. I've told you these things so that in me you will have peace. Even if things don't go the way we want. Even if hard times come our way. even if every day, blow after blow after blow, something is happening, something bad. I have told you these things so that in me you will have peace. In this world, you will have trouble. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And we frankly, right now, don't know how long this trouble will last. We don't know. You guys, this may be the new normal. Some of you may not go back to work. I may not go back to, I don't know. We may not go back to work. We may not, that's right, Sam. Sam said, for real, nothing can shake the deep peace that the Lord gives. And that's exactly right. When we put our faith, our hope, our trust in God, He gives us peace. And it's peace that the world doesn't understand. That's what's so beautiful about being a believer, being a Christian, is that our peace is supernatural. It's a supernatural thing, and you can't understand it with the natural mind. And people who aren't believers can't understand how we can have peace in this world, in this time of just such great uncertainty, such great turmoil, But we can, right? We can have peace because our peace comes from a place that is not within us. It's not within our natural self to be able to have this peace that God gives us. And Jesus said it right here, John 16:33. This is one of my favorite scriptures in the whole Bible. You guys, I'm probably going to say it multiple times. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. God has already overcome everything that will ever come against us. And we've got to remember to keep our faith. And we see in the Bible, Matthew 17:20, just a little bit of faith is all you need. Just a little bitty bit of faith is all you need to get you through the next day. Yesterday, I hadn't lost my faith. I was in a really hard place yesterday, and I was kind of physically, I'm pretty sure I was, already exhausted, I think, mentally and physically and all the things. But in Matthew 17:20, you know what? I'm just going to read it to you. I'm just going to read it because it's good. And it's the Bible. And let's just read it. Matthew 17:20. He replied, but because you have so little faith, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, and actually the King James Version says as a grain of a mustard seed. So, mustard seeds are teeny, teeny, tiny. A grain of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. And I think, of course, this is true and real, and we can have that kind of faith. God. Yes, buddy. I love you, buddy. Okay, we'll get a snack in a minute. Okay. Okay, that hair is off the chain, you guys. But if we can have just a little bit of faith, that's all we need. That's all we need. Yesterday, I was a wreck. I was weeping. I did not intend to cry during that whole video. It just kind of happened. But I wasn't crying because of a lack of faith. Because I will tell you, in my heart of hearts, even if I never go back to work, even if my kids don't go back to school, even if financial crises happens, even if, God is still good. I still have faith. I still believe in the peace of God. I still believe that God is faithful and He will not fail us. He will not let us down in this time, and especially in this time where we so desperately need Him, right? And we look at all the things that are going on in this world around us, and we think, oh my gosh, like this is like the fire, right? Like we are being thrown into the fire, and we can't help it, right? It's not even a choice. right now, which is, again, really difficult because everything is so far out of our control. Everything is just life is just, the new normal is just being thrust upon us, right? But let's read about 3 guys who didn't have control over their circumstance because they trusted in God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. This is Daniel chapter 3, verse 16. Replied to him, King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. I love that. I don't have to defend my faith. I don't have to defend my actions to the world. If they don't get it, they don't get it. That's okay. I don't have to defend myself, and I'm frankly not going to. That's just me. If we are thrown into the blazing fiery furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us. And I love the faith that they have. He will. He's able and he will. Those are 2 very important statements, because no matter the outcome, God will deliver us. And the deliverance may not look like we want it to look. It may not look like we think it should look. I have in my head, I have all these scenarios that play out. Like, okay, so I'm out of work for a month, and then we're going to go back to work, and then we're going to do this. Or the kids aren't in school right now. So like I all these little scenarios like play out in my brain, and this happens, but the deliverance doesn't always come the way that we think it will, right? The way that we foresee it, the way that we plan it out, right? And that's where faith comes in, yeah? Because Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the God we serve is able to deliver us. He's able, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, even if he doesn't do it the way that we think he will, even if he doesn't just, come down from heaven and strike King Nebuchadnezzar and just, whatever. Even if he does not, we want you to know, Your Majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. I love the faith of the 3 Hebrew boys. I love their faith. They had respect for the authority that was above them. We want you to know, Your Majesty. They weren't disrespectful. But they were faithful to their God. They weren't disrespectful to the authority of, their king, but they were faithful to their God. We want you to know, Your Majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. And you read through the story, and if you grew up in church, you know the story. This is like a standard Sunday school story. But maybe you're watching and you didn't grow up in Sunday school, and that's okay. So let me tell you, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, you know what, we're not going to bow. And so Nebuchadnezzar got mad. He got real mad. And the king had a fiery furnace that anybody who didn't bow to the image he set up, just throwing them in. Bye-bye. Burning you up. And he became so angry that he made the furnace so hot that the men who were stoking the fire died. They weren't even in the furnace, and they died because it was so hot. And the story goes on to say, they put the 3 Hebrew boys in there, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And when King Nebuchadnezzar looked in, he said, didn't we just put 3 people in there? Didn't we? And then he says in verse 25, look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed. Okay, so that's a message right there, all in itself. I'll save that one for another day. And the 4th looks like the Son of God. There were 4 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. God delivered them. I don't think they expected to be thrown into the fire. And I certainly don't think they expected to be able to walk in the fire, unbound and unharmed. In the middle of the fire that they were in the middle of this crazy, crazy circumstance, God delivered them. They were walking around in this crazy fire. I mean, there's so many metaphors we can take from that. But they were unharmed. They were unbound. They weren't bound. They weren't bound by the circumstance that surrounded them. Again, there's a message there. I'll save that for another devotion. They weren't harmed by the fire. Yes. Okay. Okay, give it to Bubba. Bubba will find it for you. So, when we are in this crazy fire that we're in right now, because y'all, it's nuts. It is such a crazy time right now in our world. Like, every day something's new. Every day there's a new fire, and we so often want God to put the fire out. We want God to deliver us from the fire. We want God to come in and step in and just like supernaturally just wipe out coronavirus or, change what's happening in our world, when God is saying, no, I need you to be in the fire. Because in the fire is where I can perform the miracle, right? In the fire is where I can show up. If there was no hurting, there would never be a miracle. There would never be a need for God to show up. And if we can learn that even if things don't go the way we want them to go, even if God, I don't know why I grabbed my pen just then, even if God says, I'm not delivering you from this circumstance, even if things aren't working out the way that we think they should, the way that they're playing out in our head, even if, we will remain faithful to God, because God is always faithful to us. We will remain faithful because God's plan is so much better. It's so much better than our plan anyway, right? God's plan is so much more perfect. I mean, how awesome was it? These guys, the bragging rights of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yeah, we walked in the fire. We didn't get burned. The ropes came off. We weren't even bound. God was walking right around in the fire with us, right? I kind of want bragging rights like that. Not going to lie to you. But even if God doesn't deliver us the way we think he should, listen to the words of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The God we serve is able, and he will. But even if he does not, and I want to add, deliver us the way we think he should or would or can, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods. Our faith, all we need is a little bit of faith to continue walking in the peace of God, to continue walking through this fire and allowing God to protect us from harm, allowing God to continue to make us free. They were free. They were in the fire and they were unbound. They were free. They had so much freedom even in the fire. And if we can keep the faith, right? Keep the faith, we will make it through. We'll make it through this fire together, right? And I want to read to you guys some song lyrics. So, and second of all, okay, there's a really good book that I want to recommend. It's called Even If. I can't remember the author. A friend of mine is a contributor. She wrote a portion of the book. Her name is Amy Modglin. I will post it in my stories, okay? I will go to my office and I will find the book and I will post it. It's a really good book. Read it. But it speaks to this very thing. And if you, how many fans of Mercy Me do we have? Somebody's asking me to introduce myself. My name is Summer. And yeah, what's up? I love the Lord, and I love teaching people about God and his goodness. So Mercy Me wrote this song called Even If, and I want to read to you some of the lyrics.
Can I say hey?
Yes, you may say hey.
Hey, bye.
Hey, bye. Here, come over here. You can't. Facebook can't see you. All right, say hey, bye.
Hey, bye.
All right. All right.
Bye.
So the lyrics of Even If, they say it only takes a little faith to move a mountain. Well, good thing, because a little faith is all I have right now. But God, when you choose to leave mountains unmovable, give me the strength to be able to sing, "It is well with my soul." I know you're able, and I know you can save through the fire with your mighty hand. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone. I know the sorrow and I know the hurt would all go away if you just say the word. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone. And I want us to remember that our hope is in Christ Jesus. I want you to remember that all you need is a little bit of faith. Faith is a grain of a mustard seed. Just a little bit of faith, and hold on to that. And through these hard times, through these trying times, your faith will become stronger. God will deliver you. Maybe not the way you think he should, would, can, whatever. But he will deliver you, even in the middle of the fire. I hope you guys enjoyed this today. I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. for Bible study. And if you have any topics, anything you want me to talk about, please don't hesitate to shoot me a DM or comment. I would love for you to share this video. Let people know they can always come here and get encouragement. And, you know, I try to be inspirational, but sometimes I'm a train wreck, like yesterday. Oh, okay. You guys, I love all of you. And let me know if I can do anything for you. And again, I'll see you back here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Bye-bye.